DeSales University, the site tonight for Blue Mountain League Baseball as the Hellertown Royals check in with a record of 24-2. They'll take on the Lehigh Valley Clippers, who come in with a record of 11-15. Hi and welcome, everyone. Al DiCarlo alongside Jim Krupka. Glad you could join us on Service Electric 2 Sports. And as we look at this matchup, 5-6 games left in the regular season. And for two teams, really, for Lehigh Valley Clippers, they're one of those teams that have to really win out to have a chance to get into the playoffs. But, Jim, Hellertown, they know they're going to be into the playoffs. An outstanding record. They're at 24-2.
Right, Al. This is a team, huge tradition. You know, they've won the title before in the league. This year they're on a roll. Only two teams to beat them. One was actually their first game of the season. So they know how to win. You got Coach Zerfas over there. He's got these players in line. Keeps that core, likes to have that middle strong, shortstop, second base, pitching, catching, and the defense. And Hellertown, they're just known. They're just kind of getting ready for the playoffs.
Talk about Bob Zerfas and the job he's done with this team, and the wins continue to come over a 3-year period. 78 wins and just 15 losses. It's impressive what he's doing. 7 straight wins after having 17 earlier in the year for his team.
Right, and they were looking, you know, that record. The record was 19 in a row. So now they're back on a roll. They know the playoffs are coming around the corner. So, you know, they're going to use all these games, you know, get the players worked in. They've lost a couple of players like all the teams tend to do in this league as the season closes. So just want to keep it together, keep it tight for the playoffs.
Rick Claggett and the Lehigh Valley Clippers, we mentioned their record with 11 wins. They really have to win out here, coming off a victory over the weekend. But for them, just looking, they have the college players on their team, a younger kind of team than Hellertown does with the veterans.
Right, and they're in that middle of the pack. They've got 11 wins right now. They'd have to win out and have a lot happen. You know, they've got to jump a lot of teams to get into those playoffs. So Coach Claggett, you know, he wants to get them, keep them together, maybe play the role of spoiler. They'd like to win one tonight, maybe start a roll, and, you know, you never know what's going to happen as that season concludes.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Does Hellertown win another game, or does the Lehigh Valley Clippers stop their streak? First pitch coming up next on 2 Sports.
Mike, you're not at the golf course. It's just high def.
The Golf Channel and Versus HD are now available on Service Electric High Def. Call now for up to 25 high def channels exclusively on Service Electric Cable TV and Communications.
Welcome back to DeSales University Blue Mountain League Baseball. Hellertown Royals checking in on the first 3 games of this series. Take a look at the defense for the Lehigh Valley Clippers to start things off. Behind the plate will be Dan Asip. Over at first is Tim Bremen. At second is Matt Connors. Over at short is Greg Treat. And at short, TJ Johnson. From left to right in the outfield, Andrew Fair, Mark Bernhard, and Brandon Mazie is your starting. And take a look at your starting batting order for the Hellertown Royals. James Conrad will play right field and lead off. Ian Burley will play third and bat second. Chris Krinovitsky will play short and bat third. In the 4-hole will be Mark Nicholas and playing first base. John Stazenko at center field. Brad Weiss, the catcher. Jake DeBoer in at second base. Jeremy Haas, the DH. And Logan Marshall will play Legion ball for Bath. Will be going to Lehigh University. Will bat in the number 9 hole.
And how about a starter here? Conrad is going to lead it off. Now, 406 batting average. It doesn't get it and much better at the start of your top of your lineup when you have a guy getting on 4 out of 10 times one way or another, and that doesn't include maybe getting on with a walk or other ways that Conrad finds ways to get on.
We're underway from DeSales University. Joey Will is the pitcher, checking in with a record of 0-7, 39 2/3 innings pitched. We'll get the rest of his numbers in a second. That one foul wide of third. He's 50 runs scored, 64 hits, 26 strikeouts, and 19 walks.
Good look at Will there, and so he's done a nice job. 39 innings. Maybe the walks hurt him a little bit, close to 20, so almost walking a battered inning, and that's, you can't afford to put guys on base like that.
That one misses down low.
You see Conrad there, 406. He's got 13 hits and 11 RBIs. Also makes good use of his hits.
This one towards center field may drop in, diving grab though, and holding on to that one. Nice catch by Mark Bernhard, who it seemed at first wasn't going to get to it, and then dove down and made a great catch to start this game off.
So Conrad, you see there, gets maybe a little bit of a slow start. It's the first inning. Here you see that's down the middle of the plate. Logan gets the ball on it. Nice play by Bernhard. Stayed with that. You see here, just goes down, makes the catch rather than go knee high running in. Chose to go on the belly, and it worked out for him. We've got one down.
Ian Burley batting second, 278, a home run, 10 RBIs. First pitch catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. Just underway from DeSales University, Blue Mountain League Baseball. I mentioned Hellertown is a 3-0 series lead, trying to get the 4-game sweep in this series. Change of pace there. That one fouled back. So quickly in the hole at 0-2 is Burley.
We'll see what Will does now. He's ahead in the count with Burley, and that was Conrad. Pardon me. I believe I said Logan hit that ball to center field. Our umpire behind the plate is Joe Labella, and on the bases is Jeff Jesitz.
Burley in his 9th year playing in the BML. Ground ball, a nice snag by Will. Fires over. Nice toss to first. 2 away. So 2 up and 2 down here for Hellertown.
And a nice first inning for Will. You see here, this is a little one-hopper back through the middle. It's great when the pitcher can field that position. Stayed right with it. And a nice little soft toss over to first baseman Bremen.
Chris Grunowicki, the shortstop, 429 on the season, 3 home runs and 16 RBIs. He's been up 77 times, go along with 33 hits. 2 down, top of the first pitch, and that one is a foul ball down the left field line, 0-1.
Just a little bit early on Will. Took that one down over third base. Grunowicki, 429. How'd you like to have those two guys at the top of your lineup? 406 and 429 in the 1 and 3 hole.
I think that one of the big reasons why this one stroked towards the gap in left center field, and that one drops in for the single off the bat of Grunowicki. So another hit for Grunowicki, a 2-out base hit. Will bring up Mark Nicholas.
Bernhard and Fair did a nice job closing in this here. You see this. This is in the gap. Will delivers. That's taken nicely down into the gap between Bernhard and Fair, and left makes the one-hop pickup and plays the ball in, but not what Will wanted. He looked like he was going to kind of get out of his first inning there and cruise, but gives up the hit.
So a 1-out single brings up Mark Nicholas, the first baseman, at 250, a home run and 13 RBIs. Grunowicki takes his lead off first. That one down low, 1-0.
Catcher back there is Dan Asep. He's picked up a couple of low ones tonight.
John Stazenko on deck for the Hellertown Royals. Swing and a miss right through that one was Nicholas.
Fooled him on that pitch. Came way late with the swing. Tried to make up his mind and went. Here's a look at it. You see there. That dropped down a little bit over the top.
Grunowicki, as they look over towards him. That went a little low outside. They call it a strike. Behind the plate, Joe Labella. Jeff Jesitz is the field umpire. 2 away here in the top half of the first. And Jim is turning into be, it's been a nice day all day. And, that sun was out there a little bit more than, for a while, then started coming down. But it's a nice picture perfect evening to play a baseball game.
A little cool, a little breeze.
I think the breeze is the key part of it. It's not as sticky as it could be, and we've been fortunate enough actually not to have those kind of sticky days as of late. That one misses outside.
Count goes full, I believe. Is it full count?
Yeah, 3 balls, 2 strikes. First full count of the game. So let's see. We'll see Grunowicki off from first. Stazenko on deck. Nicholas waits the pitch here by Joey Will.
Nice evening to be on the campus of DeSales University.
There goes the runner. And we'll do it all over again.
Cue shot down the third base side. Picked up by Coach Zerfas. Played many years in this league. He's knocked a few out of the parks around the Lehigh Valley playing Blue Mountain League baseball.
So back to a full count. Will checks the side. And this one, a high shot towards right field, and under it to make the final out is Brandon Mazie to retire the side. So no runs on just the hit by Grunowicki, and we'll go to the bottom half of the first inning. And good job of Joey Will to get out of any kind of inning. And for him, it's crucial, considering the last time, to take a look at that hit He only pitched 2 1/3 against Hellertown, Jim, and in the last appearance, a 7-0 win by Hellertown, he gave up 7 runs in those 2 1/3 innings. So he's fortunate to get out of the inning and, you know, try something different this time around and see if he can regroup.
And it has to build up his confidence, especially when you did give up a lot last time around. That little jam job there, he did a good job in on the fist there. Couldn't take that anywhere where it would hurt him.
Take a look at the Hellertown defense for tonight. And we begin behind the plate. Brad Weiss over at first is Mark Nicholas. Jake DeBoer is over at second. Chris Grunowicki at short. And Ian Burley is at third. Left to right in the outfield, Logan Marshall, John Stazenko, and James Conrad will be behind the defense and the pitching of Jeff Laporta for these Hellertown Royals. And you mentioned have 24 wins on the season. Take a look at the batting lineup for the Lehigh Valley Clippers. Mark Bernhard, center field leadoff, batting .264. Matt Connors playing second, batting .213. Andrew Fair in the 3-hole, playing left field at .354. Brandon Mazie, the right fielder, batting in at .288. Batting fifth, Tim Bremen, the first baseman, batting in at .280. Andy Yencho, the designated hitter. Dan Asip, the catcher. Then Terry T.J. Johnson, third baseman, and Greg Treat, the shortstop. So take a look, as we mentioned, a nice evening here on the campus of DeSales University. As you take a look at what we're looking at right above us. And then the pitcher on the mound tonight, we mentioned, is Jeff Laporta. Laporta, while Joey Will's having a tough season at 0-7, you know, Jeff Laporta's having a great season. He's at 6-0, 41 1/3 innings pitched, 13 runs, 33 hits, 2 complete games, 51 strikeouts, and 12 walks. Bottom half of the first, no score. Mark Bernhard taking the first pitch here from Jeff Laporta, and he'll stroke this one to center field, and that will drop in for a leadoff single as John Stazenko got a late jump off it. And you always like to see your first batter get up and get on, and this is exactly what Bernhard has done.
Yeah, nice and aggressive here. You see Bernhard waits a little, just like the first batter for Hellertown, but that ball was caught. This one drops in for a base hit, and playing that was Stazenko. And we'll see if they do anything here. Maybe try to move the runner over, get an early run, since they have had trouble with Hellertown. They are 0-3 thus far in the season, but new night tonight.
Absolutely. You know, we always talk about playing games, you know, on the field, not on paper. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. They're trying to, as a throwback to first, trying to see if they can finish out the year in a nice little win streak and see if they could do it against a team that's the top team in the league. That really builds your confidence. Matt Connors throw back over to first base, keeping Bernhard close. Actually picking him off.
He got him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on the snap. Take a look at it again. I looked up, and
here it is, Laporta.
He had him leaning.
Yep, just got that tag on him. You see, he tried to get the right foot in there and could not. So it's a shame on that base hit. Now you get that base runner erased. Laporta doing a good job, and he gets rid of that first base runner. So,
Jim, the last thing you want to happen, we're talking about, you know, getting your leadoff guy on, and all of a sudden, you know, you get picked off.
You never think defensive in baseball. I'm, of course, thinking a bunt, moving him over, maybe a steal. Right. And here, Laporta, he just fouled everything up with the game plan there and picks him off of first base.
Pitch by Laporta, swinging and missing through that one for a strike. On deck, it'll be Andrew Fair. You talk to the coaches and, you know, the philosophy for both teams. And Jim, you know, two teams, two different philosophies, and, you know, they go about their business. Just want a little dribbler towards second. And making a play over first is Laporta, as Mark Nicholas had to go and make the play. So 2 away.
And a ground ball there. I don't know. Would that have been a double play? Of course, we're never going to know. But now they've got 2 down in the books on the ground out. And that one went to second baseman. And that was DeBoer. Or DeBoer? No, sorry, DeBoer did not make that play. Laporta made that play, correct, and flipped it. But yeah, the Clippers, they've sent a couple players, Hal, as you know, over to the ACBL, and that's their philosophy, is to groom players and get them moving up and out, and that's what they do.
Here's Andrew Fair, first ball. 354, no home runs, 17 RBIs on the season. So 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. From DeSales University, Laporta checks the sign, delivers, and change of pace there, and that one misses outside, now 2-0. Brandon Mazie on deck. You know, I look back to the game that we did the other night starters and Bethlehem, the Cardinals, same kind of situation. You know, you're up in the top half of the first inning. Starters they got a leadoff double, then a base hit. There's a walk here. A sacrifice fly scores the run. Next thing you know, a wild pitch, but they tried to get the runner home, did not, and it takes you out of an inning. Could have been 2-3 nothing, and they end up losing the game eventually. But sometimes one play will change, a lot of things here. Here, the base hit to start, it gets picked off. Now fair with the walk. Like you said, it could have been a double play ball in the last one, but you play a little differently.
You move the runner over now. You do have runners at first and second base. And you're right. It changes the strategy of the game. And, when you look at things, of course, players are going to be up. But, it flips your lineup, gets different players up in different situations. They may be able to deal with it a little better. Laporta, he had success on that pickoff first time. So he doesn't want them getting a big lead on him. But I give the Clippers credit out. It looks like they're going to be aggressive tonight. They're going to try and put some pressure on the Royals.
This one skied straight up. Logan Marshall. Look for that one and dives and makes the catch. Wasn't sure there for a while. Logan Marshall coming up, playing from Legion for Bath. Will be going to Lehigh University. Got to start off it. And we'll take one more look before we go to the break.
And he just called him off and couldn't quite see it there, blocked out. But Marshall definitely took control, made the call, and he called off Gravinsky and puts away the third out.
No score after one. We'll be back on Tuesday. We're back at DeSales University. A hit apiece, no run score between Lehigh Valley Clippers and the Hellertown Royals. Al DeCarlo, Jim Krupka, glad you could join us on Service Electric 2 Sports. It will be 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup. John Stazenko, Brad Weiss, and Jake DeBoer to go up against Joey Will. Jim, you look at this matchup, and we mentioned a couple times that Hellertown leads the series. Interesting when you look at this series, a 2-0 win, a 3-1 win, and a 7-0 win. Not very, the big scores or anything like that, but only 4 hits in 3 games for the Lehigh Valley Clippers.
All right, and that, they started off with one there and 4 hits spread over 3 games. Easy to calculate for our viewers out there. When you started with one, you want to take advantage as best you can. That's why we kind of said, are they going to move them over? But doesn't matter now. Will did a nice job in the first inning, better than his last outing. Let's hope he can stay on that here against the Royals.
Check that, 6 hits, not the 4. They had 2 hits in the combined 2-hit shutout in game number 1. We gave up 3 hits by Ryan Amy, and this one is poked. And Craig Treat makes the play, 1 away, and John Stazenko.
Treat a good job going back to his left. A little humpback liner. Treat makes the out, and we've got 1 down. So Will, a nice job so far.
Oh, this is the inning that really hurt him in the last appearance and gave up a total of 7 runs.
But, when you look at this Hellertown lineup, everybody's hitting 300 here. So these guys definitely have some sticks, and you're going to have to, pitch a good game. It can't be all certainly feeding him fastballs, so he's going to move it in, out, around, and that's going to be up to Dan Asip, his catcher, to help him out with that.
That one straight up, and Jim maybe, yes. No, this is a little bit closer. Nice play there by Asip, as you mentioned, helping him out with the signs, but also helping him out making the play there. 2 away. That one, Brad Weiss, who came in batting at .377.
Yeah, you got to remember, for a catcher, that's a little bit tougher play. He's got to get rid of the gear. Let's take a look. Asip there, you see he's got the helmet out of the way. Or the mask out of the way, helmet on, comes back, and the ball coming back towards him. And good play there. Turned his body back, had the ball coming in towards his body, and made the put out.
Brings up Jake DeBoer. DeBoer playing at second base, .315, no home runs, 16 RBIs. Played his ball at Penn Argyle. I remember watching him, not only baseball, but football and success he had at Penn Argyle for the Green Knights.
There's a look at Joe Will. Nice little side shot on the man as he sets the fingers and delivers.
One skied up, and this will be an easy play for Tim Bremen. So a 1-2-3 inning by Joey Will.
Well, Will already,
3 pop-ups.
Al improves on his last outing, because you said the second inning is the one that gave him trouble. So we don't want to jinx the youngsters. He comes off, a little tip of the cap there. A couple of pop-outs, actually worked it well that inning on the Hellertown batters. He had them off balance. They got under a couple of shots and popped them up.
Mention the jinx. We don't, you're here tonight, not Jim Wills, so we don't want to give the Jim Wills jinx out there or anything like that.
I don't know the Jim Wills jinx. Is that?
No, just decide to take another shot on Jim Wills anytime I can. Take a look at the current standings here. in the Blue Mountain League. I mentioned Hellertown just having a tremendous season at 24-2. Starters at 19-8. They were in the championship against Martins Creek a year ago. The Creekers winning the championship at 18-9. And then you see that fourth spot. That's where everyone's striving for. Right now, the Cardinals have it, you know, for them, and it's theirs to win and theirs to lose for the most part. They keep winning, they'll be in the driver's seat. Bethlehem Blue Jays with 12 wins, Northampton Giants and the Clippers with 11, and then down the bottom, Lineport and the new team in the league, Lafayette Ambassador Falcons. But again, you're going to have to win out here to have any chance. But Hellertown, boy, what a season, you know, what a couple seasons they're having. Last 3 years, 78-15. They were 29-3 in 2005, year they won the championship. Last year, they're 25-10. They had a great year going in, and they ended up losing the first round, a 3-game sweep by starters. And this year, they're 24-2. You can't say much any more than that. I mean, in the time that they've been a team for all those years, you know, 30-plus years or whatever it is, they've only had 4 losing seasons. That's impressive. You know, to add to everything else, it's impressive.
I agree. And the talent in the league changes. That's another thing you need to remember in this league. You know, you do lose players. We were talking about the ACBL, but how about year to year? You have guys moving on, playing the game, kind of hanging in. And it was nice to talk to Bob Zerfas. He said really he tries to keep that core, which we touched on at the beginning of the show. If you can, you know, get that second baseman, shortstop, center fielder, get some pitching. And he already, I didn't realize that these coaches and managers do scouting. He's looking at guys for next year that he's got to get some kind of a commitment from in order to keep his team stable.
Here's Bremen, first baseman, 280, a home run, and 8 RBIs. Talking about the Clippers and, you know, losing some players to the ACBL, as you mentioned. Rick Claggett told us, you know, Ryan Walters, Nick Nagito, and Steve Geisel. You know, you lose a couple pitchers in the start that you didn't have earlier. You know, things kind of change on you. You know, you have that pitching staff kind of set. Next thing you know, it's, you know, taking some players, you know, in the ACBL. And then, you know, the first year they lost 2 guys to the New Jersey Jackals in Clay Cutlick and Nolan Nyman. So, you know, again, ACBL, next level up, moving up. And, you know, you have the Blue Mountain League. And these players get an opportunity and continue to further their career, which is a great, you know, great in itself, as the strikeout and the first one for Jeff Laporta sends Bremen back to the bench.
So we got one down here that you see way outside, goes after it. So Bremen's going to take a seat, and Laporta gets his first strikeout, a pickoff and a strikeout. He's had a pretty good night so far already.
Brings up Andy Yencho, who is the DH tonight, batting in at 111 on the season. 2 hits on the year. First ball strike. Playoffs begin on August 4th and 5th. I think they'll go Saturday, Sunday, then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday until it's, you know, until it's complete. As they go through the schedule, that one down in the dirt. Brad Weiss with the scoop.
Good grab there by our catcher. And you have to remember, all these guys coming out basically for the love of baseball. You know, to hang in there. And some of them, you know, playing college ball, they're just trying to stay loose. And if you want to call it an off season, they really don't have an off season, as you can see, playing a full schedule here.
Yeah, full schedule of 32 games, and, you know, a good opportunity to, like you said, stay fresh before, if you're in college, you know, to, you know, get ready for that college season.
That one gets punched down the third base side by Yencho.
Jeff Laporta looking for his 7th win of the season. TJ Johnson on deck. Pitch here. That one straight through the middle. And Laporta just stuck out the glove. Nothing happened there as Yencho gets his 3rd hit of the season.
Nice job by Yencho. Kind of hung tough there, waited. Didn't try to do a whole lot with that. He just kind of stroked that right back up the middle to Laporta's left. Couldn't get it here. You got to look at it. It's going to come right back at you. Right down over the plate. Just missed that. Did number 44 on the stretch. But it doesn't matter. We've got a base hit with 1 out. Let's see if the Clippers try to do something with ASIP up there.
ASIP with 3 RBIs on the year. Trying to get a 1-out rally here for the Clippers.
Sent that back to the screen.
On deck, guys. Get on those top balls.
Laporta pitching from the stretch, of course, with the runner on first base. That slam foul down the first base side.
Hellertown with those 2 losses. Well, you look at the Clippers, excuse me, 11-15. they have scored 94 runs. They've given up 124. So they've had their share of, games that have been a little bit out of reach compared to Hellertown, which, despite having those 24 wins, don't really, put up all those runs. Talking to Coach Zerfossi said, we haven't had the game that we scored 10, 12, 15 runs, 2 or 3 times during the year. Sometimes it'll be 0-0 and we'll break the game open. But he's one of those managers that just does not want to, keep another team in the game. You know how it is. Keep someone in, things change. That one fouled. And we'll do it again.
See Laporta try to drop a couple changeups in there on ASIP. And down there at first base is Andy Yencho.
Runner at first, as you mentioned, Yencho, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dan Asip. TJ Johnson on deck with Greg Treat to follow. Throw back to first. We know what that's all about. With Laporta already picking off Mark Bernhardt, who led off the game with a base hit.
And I like that shot from the third base side. That's some good camera work there. This one fouled back, and the catcher hangs on to it, and that's going to be another strikeout.
So 2 Ks in this inning for Jeff Laporta. Good job behind the plate by Brad Weiss to hold on.
People don't realize the strategy involved. If you don't follow baseball, you kind of don't know what's going on there. As we take a look at that, busted him inside on the fists, fouled it off right back into the catcher's mitt. A good job by Weiss to hang on to it. There's Johnson. No at-bats, so this is a new experience for TJ, the third baseman.
And we have no statistics on Johnson. Played his ball for Fullerton Legion. Runner at first. That one foul back. Just getting a piece of that one was Johnson. Greg Treat on deck. So in the number 8 batter in the order. Bottom half of the second, no score between the Hellertown Royals and the Lehigh Valley Clippers from DeSales University. Pitch swinging straight through that one is Johnson. Finds himself in the hole.
That was a nice pitch, little change up there. Got Johnson on first at bat. He's got a runner on first base. Sal, maybe a little bit anxious there. You like what Laporta's doing. He's working the hitter.
Runner going. That one up high. To throw down to second is a high toss, and we'll get the stolen base on a good jump by Andy Yencho.
So Yencho now in scoring position with Johnson here. He can make his first hit count. It could be a big one. That throw a little bit high and to the left of the bag. Here's a look at it. Throw from Weiss. You see him coming out of there. Good job. Turned through, but just got it high and offside, and the tag a little bit high.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Swinging through that one. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Jeff Laporta. We're through 2. Still no score. Clippers and Royals. Welcome back to DeSales University, Hellertown Royals and the Lehigh Valley Clippers. We go to the third. No score between these 2 teams. Al DiCarlo, Jim Krupka, glad you could join us on this Tuesday evening here in the Lehigh Valley. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 in the order for the Royals. Jeremy Haas, Logan Marshall, and top of the order, James Conrad against Joey Will. Joey Will has just given up the hit and came in the first inning by Chris Grinovitsky. But since then, he has motored down 4 straight batters. Last inning, 3 pop-ups.
A good inning for Will last time around. Really had the batters fooled as we get a look at Bob Zerfast there. He's down at third base. Little encouragement for his club, and this Jeremy Haas.
Haas, a Southern Lehigh High School product. Boy, did he have a career. That one hit him. Yeah, first ball. Well,
I think a little bit of debate here.
Yeah, they're going to say he got the front edge of the bat, and they're going to look over it.
Joe LaBella, let's take a look here. Yeah, that's pretty close. I don't know if we can get a shot. You saw Haas pulled his bat back. I could not quite see that. It did go inside on the fists.
So instead of a hit by a pitch, we get ourselves an 0-1 count. As you take a look at the Southern Lehigh product, checking in at 300, 1 home run, and 3 RBIs.
So Jeremy Will out there gets another chance, actually gets ahead in the count.
Yep. 0-1 against Jeremy Haas. Now he finds himself in the hole at 0-2.
Will takes advantage of that call on the ball that hit the bat. Takes the signs, works the fingers for the pitch.
That one slapped through the middle, getting past Greg Treat. So no hit by pitch, but a single by Jeremy Haas to lead off the third.
He'll be happier with that base hit than getting on by the hit by pitch. Here you see it. Tried to drop one in there, a little bit of a changeup. Will knew it. I love the shot there of Will behind. He knew he gave him a pitch that he could work. He took it, didn't try to do too much with it. Took it to the left of the shortstop and has a base hit.
We'll bring up Logan Marshall, who's 0 for 6 on the year, playing Legion ball at Bath.
Jeremy Haas looking runnerish as we take a look at Logan Marshall.
She'll be heading to Lehigh. So Haas takes his lead. There's a pitch. That one slapped through the middle. That middle has been a part of the field where a number of batters have go. Now all of a sudden, Hellertown with 2 on and nobody out here in the third. Back-to-back singles by Haas and Marshall bring up the top of the order. It'll be Conrad, Burley, and Grinovisky.
Tried to go inside with it. Good job by Marshall. Just turned on that and then went left and took it right up the middle. Has a base hit. We've got runners now on first and second.
So the 8 and 9 batters get on for Marshall, his first hit of the season. Here's Conrad, 406 on the year. Takes one up high, flew out in the first inning, and that diving catch made in the outfield by Andrew Fair.
And interesting here, Al, you know, you go through a little bit of the heart of your order, your 5, 6, and 7. You work them all on some pop-ups, and then you get the bottom of the lineup. Think maybe you can cruise, get an out here or there, and you end up with 2 singles and players on. So Conrad up there, he was somewhat robbed on a nice hit to center field by Bernhard.
Burley on deck. Here's the pitch. That one up high. So right now, Joey Will is trying to find that spot. 3 balls, no strikes.
So the Clippers now a little bit of a jam here in the third inning on Hellertown. You're going to, I'm sure, maybe take a pitch or 2 here.
That one, the old guaranteed strike, you know, 3-0 pitch, almost 90%. Unless you put it way up high, you're going to get it.
If we want to hurry up baseball in the future, let's just give you an automatic strike on that 3-0 pitch.
It started 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike. Runner leads off first and second, swinging right through that one is Conrad, and good job there. Will bringing the count to full.
I think he reached back here a little bit, came with a little extra. Take a look. And again, also inside, a little movement on that too. A little bit of a cutter inside.
3-2 pitch. This one will drop through this between short and third, and throw home will not be in time. So the RBI single by James Conrad and a 1-0 Hellertown lead. So 3 singles in a row. Now first and second for Ian Burley.
Haas all the way was running. Didn't even think of stopping. Came to third, throw a little bit late. Good poke by Conrad. Shuffled it through that left side. And now we got runners on first and second. Still nobody out. And they come up with the hit.
Andrew Fair, you came up with that one. You just take a look, and it took them a while really to start firing home.
Elliot Johnson, a little decoy down there at third base.
John Pallone
out there now.
And John Pallone, sales product, one of the assistant coaches, comes out there to talk to Joey Will, settle him down with those 3 straight singles, Jim. And now you got really the heart of the order, 2, 3, and 4 in a line and nobody out.
Right, Burley, Grinovisky, and Nichols. And Grinovisky already has 1 hit on the evening. This is where Hellertown now. You want to hold them off here as long as you can. No bullpen action for Lehigh Valley.
And
we do have bullpen action. There's somebody warming up for the Clippers.
I went up high to Ian Burley.
So
Fred Stout, Moravian College product, is warming up for the Clippers. Will the Burley 0 for 1 with a ground out. So now 2 balls, no strikes.
So Will falls behind again, 2-0 now.
Well, Jim, exactly how Coach Sarah Fawcett said, you know, we'll go a couple innings, you know, quick outs, and all of a sudden, not so much explode, but put in a couple of timely hitting is what he called it. You know, when we were talking earlier today on the phone, you know, he said, you know, the biggest key was, you know, scoring the runs. He said the defense has been, you know, been doing a great job, but it's the timely hitting. He said we've had excellent pitching. There's a bunt that will advance the runners.
And a good play by Will. He took his look all the way around at the bases. Saw that he had no play at third base. Didn't panic. So sacrifice, though, works and goes 1-3. Here it is. Here's a look at it. Right to now. Watch Will here. Picks it up. Takes a look at third. Knows he can't go there. Second and right to first base. Had plenty of time to make the out. Give him credit there. Hung tough.
So Hellertown in a position here to try to get a couple in. A run already in here in the top half of the third brings up Chris Grinovinsky. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Came in batting at .429. That one tags him. Really no chance for Grinovinsky to get out of the way of that one. He's on now. The bases are loaded for Mark Nicholas.
So we almost thought we started this inning with the hit by pitch on Haas, but now you've got runners bases loaded. So easiest base, they like to say, but you don't want to have the bases loaded anytime there. You look inside, just never came back for Will. Tried to work inside the plate, tried to jam him. And here's Nichols, the first baseman.
Well, Mark Nicholas is a player, you know, coming in at 250. He's got the 13 RBIs, but Nicholas really has the opportunity here to break this game a little wide open for Hellertown.
Runners on second, third. Nicholas now, left-handed hitter. He flied out in the first inning to right field. That was Mazzy.
John Stazanko on deck. Bases juice. Pitch swinging right through that one is Nicholas.
So count 0-2. This is a good pitch. Drops down. This mixed pitches well tonight as well.
Joey Will trying to get it out of a jam. That one low, and it will go down the first baseline. 1 run in. The second run will come in. That one takes a high hop in the outfield. And it'll be first and third, 3-0 Hellertown.
And that one looks like it just got under the glove of the first baseman, Brennan. I thought at first, I thought he was going to scoop that and go to the bag. Infield was in a little bit tight. Maybe that handcuffed him, as we're going to see here. A look at it. Goes to first base. Sharply hit just by the first base side. And maybe if he would have been back, he might have had that play. So Hellertown picks up 3 here, and they did give him an error on that first bit.
No, just that's I'm just checking with you, Jim, what you're thinking there.
Yeah,
that's a tough play, you know, error, or, you know, a base hit.
I think with no contact.
No contact.
Glove,
yeah, we'll give him a base hit and 2 RBIs. We're not the official scores, but we can be that official scorer right now for, you know, one of those tough plays that just stayed down low.
If you're scoring at home, you can mark it yourself. But thought there could have been an out made on the play. So we still have runners on first and third for Stazanko.
Yes, Stazanko batting in at .282, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs. Popped up to short in the last inning. This becomes the 7th batter of this inning after 4 straight retired by Joey Will. The last batter in the first, 3 in the second, but since then a base hit by Hawes. Marshall with a base hit by Conrad. Scored him. Now runners at first and third. That one down low. And a sacrifice bunt by Burley. Grinovinsky was hit by a pitch. Then Mark Nicholas with a base hit. That drives in 2 runs. And here's Stazanko.
He's been a little bit high with some of his pitches tonight. That's where he seems to get hurt. Right back to the box, though. Good job. Goes to second for 1.
So grounds out, and now bring up Brad Weiss with the runner staying at third on a toss to second. 3 runs in. And bring up Brad Weiss, who popped up to the catcher.
This was that inning where Will cruised. You know, Al, if he really gets out of here only with the 3, he's done a nice job, has Joe Will, because it looked for a while there that Hellertown was going to be able to set up the big inning. They had runners on. The sack worked beautifully for them by Burley, and then the hit by pitch loaded them up. So if he can work by this hitter and only give up 3, good job by Joe Will.
Foul ball wide of third. Jake DeBoer on deck. We're in the top half of the third inning. Hellertown leading 3-0 over the Lehigh Valley Clippers. Hellertown looking for their 25th win of the season. The Clippers looking for win number 12.
That's because Matt taught her.
Runners lead off first and third.
That's a little spin move over to first base. Trying to hold both of the runners. Certainly don't want to put that other runner in scoring position if you can hold them on. So now Cizenko knows Will's got his eye on him.
Runner going.
That one hits.
That hit him in the back of the head.
I think it hit the helmet.
Right in the
yes.
helmet, right in the back of the helmet. So second batter hit. The runner was off towards second. But either way, Weiss will get on and will load him up. And Weiss is going to feel that one despite the helmet because that was hit.
Here you go. This is going to be sounds of the game right here. Take a listen. Foul ball there. And we'll get set for this one. Here it comes.
Base is loaded. Brings up the 9th batter in the order. And that's Jake DeBoer.
So they have batted around here in the second inning against Will. Again, he's trying to come inside. And just losing the ball a little bit.
Yeah, DeBoer with 16 RBIs on the year. Big chance, we mentioned, could break the game open. You had said, you know, Joey Wilkin, if he gets out of this, you know, with the 3 runs for everything that's happened in that inning, you know, 3 base hits, sacrifice bunt, 2 hit batters, 4 base hits, actually. You know, get out with 3 runs. It'd be huge. Here, Hellertown wants to add to the lead, and DeBoer will take this pitch. And get out one to second. Connors over to Bremen out of the inning, but the damage is done as 9 batters come to the plate. And 3 runs score on the 4 hits, but 3 runners left on base. But a big inning there for Hellertown as they do get 3 across the board.
And it's going to be interesting to see now. You're going to have to see a response from the Clippers here. You see they're getting together on the side there. Coach Claggett, he's going to talk to them. You want to, of course, try and get 1 or 2 back as we take a look at a beautiful evening here on the campus of DeSales University.
Al DiCarlo, Jim Wills with you. Glad you could join us on this Tuesday night. Hellertown and the Clippers. Reminder, on Thursday, we'll be live at Reading, Lehigh Valley Sports Scene.
There's a shot of Valera Hall.
Take a good look there. Jeff Laporta. Take a look at Laporta, what he did in the last inning, because he's had success on the mound as he started coming with some strikes and a little change of pace there as well as he took down Bremen, Asip, and Johnson, Jim.
Busts him inside. I think that's Asip there. Catches him on 3 inside. So he went outside, inside, outside. So you're not a lot of help to your teammates when you're going back to that dugout saying, how did he get you? He got you outside, but then Laporta, nice job moving that ball around, and we'll give some credit also to Brad Weiss, jumbling that target in and out, up and down, keeping the batters off balance.
And we'll see the bottom of the order to the top. It'll be Greg Treat batting in at number 9. Then top of the order, Mark Bernhard and Matt Connors against Jeff Laporta here. Bottom half of 3, 3-0 your score.
And you got to be confident now. If you're Laporta, you're going out there in the bottom of the 3rd inning. You know, you've got a 3-run lead. You just kind of struck out the side. Definitely an emotional lift for the pitcher.
Well, he's getting a lot of these batters. You talked about the inside, the outside, you know, swinging at some pitches that are not on the plate.
But I really like the pace of both of the pitchers. A nice job. They get the ball. You know, they're not out there messing around, shaking off their catchers. They're just, you know, putting the ball where it needs to be put, keeping the game moving along.
Swinging straight through that one is Greg Treat. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Jeff Laporta. As Treat goes down, we go to the top of the order and Mark Bernhard. And Bernhard, you know, led things off with the base hit, but next thing you know, he got picked off by Laporta in the top of the 1st.
I think Bernhard here, he'd love to end this string of strikeouts. All the last 4 outs have been by way of the K, and he'd like to get off that now, but Bernhard swings through that. Looks like he was fooled on that pitch. Bernhard also has a nice catch to his credit in the 1st inning.
Porter came in with a record of 6-0, trying to extend that to an even, well, uneven, odd number and 7 wins, but an impressive year. You know, maybe one more start left for him.
So could win 8 games before they go into the playoffs. I'm sure he's going to be a big piece of their playoff action. This one grounded to second baseman DeBoer.
So the 4-3 put out will bring up Matt Connor. So 2 up and 2 down as Jeff Laporta, Jim, is starting to feel a little more comfortable on the mound. Not that he wasn't comfortable, but he got off that single to start the game. And there was a walk thrown in there, but since then he's really done a good job of, you know, mixing up his pitches and getting these guys off target a little bit.
2 runners in the first inning he had, and 1 runner in the second inning. Now got a strikeout and a ground out here as Connor steps in there. Connor's the second baseman.
Connor's
throws in there.
Grounded out to first in his only plate appearance. Came in batting at .213, no home runs and 4 RBIs. Andrew Fair is on deck for the Lehigh Valley Clippers. Pitch. As you take a look at Weiss trying to maybe lift it up a little bit. Frame it a little bit, lift it up, and put it in the position where Joe Labella will call it a strike. Does not. Laporta delivers, and that one way off the mark.
Tried to go up high that time, get him to chase. Nothing to do with it. Connors having nothing to do with that high pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the third. This one pops straight up in the sun. Nicholas makes the play, so 3 up and 3 down. We're through 3, 3-0, Hellertown on top. By Jeff Laporta pitched in that game. Pitched 4 innings, got the win, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. The loss went to Joey Will, who's also on the mound. He went 2 1/3, 7 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. Here, a different day, the 24th of July. But right now, the same result, Hellertown on top by the score of 3-0. As we welcome you back, and the first batter, Jeremy Hawes, lays down the bunt. Will throws it out at first, 1 away.
Good play by Will, nice and calm. You know, without that last inning, if you're on the Lehigh Valley Clippers club, you know you've lost 3 games to these guys. Will did a great job the first 2 innings, held them. Then, you know, they batted around in the second inning and scored 3 runs. So psychologically, as you see that stretching to go to first base was Haas, and he's going to be called out on the play by Will. But, you know, now Lehigh Valley knows they've got to score some runs to Clippers. In Hellertown, they've got 3 in the bag. They've got to be very confident here that they've won 3 and have the lead.
Yeah, Joey Will just go back to that 3rd inning where he gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. He got fortunate getting out of a jam, leaving 3 batters, that one going off the plate. This was going to be a tough play, but a good job there of Will, either going for it or maybe trying to see if it was going to go foul. And he makes the play. 2 away.
Good job by Will off the mound. He just takes that little bounder. There you see it. Goes first base side, makes the tag. And a good job by Will. We've got 2 down and 2 little ground outs, both back to the pitcher. A bunt try, of course, by Haas. You like that, too. After pounding out all those hits, your next batter comes up, tries to lay that bunt down. Bob Zerfas, that's why he's in this game for a long time.
Top of the order, and James Conrad. Conrad, that is a fair ball down the left field line, and Conrad's going to go for 2. And he will go in there with a stand-up double. So a 2-out double by James Conrad. His 2nd hit of the game. He had a single and a run scored in the 3rd.
And we talked about Conrad. Nothing like having a 400 hitter at the top of your lineup. Here you see, plants that front foot a little stretched out, but takes it over third base and punches it to Fair. Fair gets it in, though, pretty quickly and holds him to the double. I like the aggressive running, too, out of the box all the way to the second base bag.
I'll bring up Ian Burley, grounded out in the sacrifice bunt. And this one lifted towards short center field. Bernhardt doesn't have to get it because Connors goes back and get it. And a relatively easy inning there for Joey Will. Gives up the double. And we'll go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's still a 3-0 lead by the Hellertown Royals.
Didn't hurt him there. He gave up the double after 2 outs. Good place to give that up. And then works him inside, gets another little, we've seen a couple of those little pops going to infielders just to have to make a couple steps into the outfield grass.
Jim, not what we want to see right now, but a little couple of raindrops.
Little rain action.
A little rain, not much, but enough to start coming down, there's a huge cloud, you know, towards the first baseline. Let's say a little bit more than huge, maybe gigantic.
Oh, yeah, that's a bases loaded cloud next to us.
So we'll go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. There'll be Andrew Fair, Brandon Mazey, and Tim Bremen.
I think it's just going to be a little passing. Let's hope it's going in a direction away from us and not towards us.
Yeah, we'll cover up here a little bit.
As Fair is going to bat for the Clippers. And they'll hustle him out there. A good job by our umpire, Joe LaBella. On the bases is Jeff Jesitz. But now it is getting a little bit darker. That sun disappearing up there.
All right, so we'll get it in and go in here. It's Jim Wills, you know, maybe he's the jinx again. I'm going to call Willsy the jinx. You know, he's not here and, you know, it's raining.
It's still raining.
He's just, you know, doing it on us on purpose.
That's because he's at home.
Exactly.
So now it's raining.
Here's Andrew Fair. Fair will walk in the 1st inning. We're in the bottom half of the 4th, 3-0 Hellertown. That one down low. It'll be Fair, Meza, and Bremen against Laporta. Swinging through that one for the strike is Fair.
And the batters hustle into the box.
Swinging and a miss by Fair. So he's in the hole.
Worked that one to the inside.
Brandon Mazey on deck. Here's Fair, the pitch. And oh, just took a lot off that one and the strikeout. And that is strikeout number 5 for Jeff Laporta.
So Laporta cruising here, 3 in inning number 2. He's had 1 in the 3rd inning and now 1 here in the 4th. You see this pitch inside, little tentative swing. Tried to put it in play, did Fair. Laporta doing a nice job controlling the game. Tougher for your fielders to stay focused here when a pitcher is kind of doing that strong. You got to make sure you're on your toes out there, and he gets ahead in the count again here on Mazey.
That's exactly right. You know, you're out there, your pitcher's got 5 Ks, and you're just moving along. Next thing you know, you're not paying attention. A sharp hit towards you. Here's Mazey, who popped up or flew out, excuse me, to right field, and his only plate appearance came in batting at .288. A little missed here. More than a miss, I would say. Bremen on deck. That one down low.
Just going to keep the dust down in the infield.
That's all.
No.
If you're on a golf course, you wouldn't even feel this.
No, not at all. That one up high. I'm starting to feel it now, though.
It's definite.
We are uncovered out here. That one straight back, and the walk to Brandon Mazey. So it's a 2nd walk given up
by Laporta. That pitch got away from him. That's one of the few to get away from Laporta here. There's the crew doing a little scrambling.
That'll bring up Tim Bremen. Bremen struck out in his only plate appearance in the 2nd. That one up high. So runner at first is Mazey. And Bremen here with 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th. 3-0 is your score in favor of Hellertown.
Bremen, the first baseman. Had that little bit of a hot shot go through him when the bases were loaded there. Laporta sets to deliver. Does so again. As you're getting a shot there of Bremen in the batter's box.
Andy Yancho on deck. Yancho with a single and a stolen base in his only plate appearance. That one right down the pipe for a strike.
Count is 3-1. No scoreboard on here tonight at Sales University. Down at first base, that is Brendan Mazie.
Fakes that he's going, now walks, so a little different here now. All of a sudden, Hellertown, Jeff Laporta with back-to-back walks. Giving up to Mazie and Bremen. So 1 out after the strikeout. Now 2 on for Andy Yencho. A great opportunity for the Clippers to see if they can cross any.
And Yencho had a base hit his last time up. Was the last time they had a player on base. Yencho got to first. And up high again is Laporta now. I'm not sure if the rain maybe's gotten to him. Maybe the ball getting a little bit slick out there.
So runners off first and second, pitch by Laporta. And runners are faking that they're again trying to advance there. It's a good lead by Brandon Mazie over at second.
Hellertown just with that 3-run lead here now, Al, with 1 out and a couple runners on. And it could see something. The inning started strong for Laporta with the strikeout. Now comes up high. And we may see the sacks loaded with Clippers.
Yeah, 3 balls, 1 strike here to Yencho with Dan Asip on deck.
Asip, the catcher. He struck out his first at bat.
Here's the strike. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jim, you know, we were talking about it. I mean, Jeff Laporta was just cruising along. And you say, you know, you got to keep your team on his toes. It wasn't so much on his toes right now. It's just been back-to-back walks. Now here, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Andy Yencho, 1 away with 2 on. And he'll check the runners and regroup.
And Laporta does the little dance there. Let him know on second base that he knows he's there. Mazie.
3-2 pitch to Yencho. That one up high, and 3 straight walks, and maybe a visit by Bob. And here he comes. Bob Zirfos will make a visit out. The last thing you want to see is, you know, sometimes a walk or 2, but not 3 in a row. And that's what we have. So bases juiced, 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th. Dan Asip will come up. He struck out in his first plate appearance. We're going to visit out here by Bob Zirfos.
And a little base hit here changes the complexion of this game pretty quickly.
Jim, you're right, though. It seemed like right when the rain started to come down, because, you know, it just, you know, changed the way Laporta was out on the mound.
Right. Changed the delivery, maybe the way he was landing, or maybe just a little bit loose with the ball out of his hand. We'll see if he can pick it up now. As the crew does a little sideline work.
So Asip with the bases loaded against Laporta. Clippers down by the score of 3-0, bottom half of the 4th inning. Pitched by Laporta. And they'll go single to right field, 1 run in. And they'll keep it right there. So a clean single. How about, you know, 3 walks in a row, and Asip going after the first pitch by Laporta will get the RBI.
He'll like it. He just wanted to get it in play, maybe get a fly ball out of it, get it in a gap. He did the right thing. Got enough on it to punch it through on the right side. Here you see he's just going to loop a little single in. There it is over the infield. And like we mentioned, now 3-1. And you have TJ Johnson up there.
Johnson is struck out. That one foul behind us with Greg Treat on deck. So 1 away here in the 4th. 3 straight walks, a base hit by Asip, and a 3-1 lead. TJ Johnson, an opportunity here to drive in at least 1. Pitch by Laporta. That one down low.
Low and outside by Laporta, but you got, you know, Johnson in there now. There you see it, 3-1. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. And I'm going to assume is 4 a complete game?
Yes.
For the league. So viewers want to be aware of that. 3-1, bottom of 4. They get this in. That's going to make it an official game, anything after this. But I think that weather's going to clear out of here, I hope.
I believe that's the case, Jim. This one towards 3rd. Force it home. They throw down to 1st. He's not in time, so 2 outs. And I bring up Greg Treat.
That's a nice play right there by the 3rd baseman, Burley. Calmly, here it is, you see.
puts the ball in play, goes to third baseman Burley, takes it, no hesitation, comes right to the plate. And wow, almost a little bit of a phantom call there. That's some good camera work from up top. Off that bag pretty quickly was Weiss, but gets the call on the out, and that'll bring Treat to the plate.
Well, an opportunity we mentioned, you know, 3 straight walks. Right now, if you're Laporte and you get out of this with just giving up the 1 run after the 3 walks, you've done, you've done your job with the 3-1 lead. Let's see, bottom of 4, still bases loaded for Greg Treat, or excuse me, yeah, bases loaded for Greg Treat, and that one foul wide of first. Well, that rain that was here about 10 minutes ago, it seems like it has now passed us, but depending on, it may be raining in the outfield the way this cloud is right now, but it's not raining over us. That's a hard chopper. This is going to be a tough play at short. The throw over to second, the stretch. They're going to say no. As Chris Grinovinsky gave everything, Jake DeBoer had the stretch. The run scores. The RBI by Greg Treat. It's 3-2.
The ball got out there a little bit slow to short. Doing the best he could with it was Grinovinsky. Here's a look at it. That a hopper way outside, had to wait for that second bounce off the dirt, and a good call at second base because just in there safe ahead of that play. So Treat will be down at first.
Swinging through that one is Bernhard.
So I have Bremen scoring on that. Is that correct?
That's correct. So Mazza, who walks, scored. Bremen now who walks, scored. Over at third is Andy Yencho. Pitch, and this one's going to go through, and we're going to have a game all tied up as coming in is Andy Yencho.
So Yencho ties it up at 3 on the pass ball that went left side, and we talked about it, Al. Just those little things happen. Started with the 3 walks and a couple of base hits, and they have a wild pitch, and we've got a 3-3 game, and he's still not out of the jam yet with runners on second and third. There you see it. Goes to the outside. Weiss goes only glove, can't get there on it, and the ball got through to the backstop.
Well, now all of a sudden the Clippers, as you mentioned, are in the driver's seat with 3 runs in, trying to add to their lead.
There, a great stop by Weiss to his right. Got the glove over, made the play. Tough for these catchers back there behind the plate. Tough job.
Long 4th inning as Laporta gets the strikeout to start the inning. The rain comes down like a mist. He walks 3 batters in a row, then a base hit in the RBI. Gets to put out 5-2 on the chopper to third base. Thinks he's going to get out of the inning. Then the base hit by Treat. And now the pass ball. And we have a 3-3 game here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Pitch by Laporta.
Clippers
foul straight back.
Clippers in business now at 3-3. They picked up 3. You'd hope you'd come back after they scored that run in the 4th. The 3rd inning to get some runs, but they just waited an extra inning and they've tied it up.
This one towards right field, and it's going to be a tough play, and coming up making a great catch was James Conrad, or else maybe 2 more could come in on there. But we're through now 4 innings of play. We got ourselves a 3-3 game.
And that there, Bernhard, you see it as we go out to the commercial. Great running catch.
National League Most Valuable Player, Ryan Howard. Up on your feet, gang. Number 58 for the big man.
I think we ought to see him beating in at least. Finally.
AC, top of the 5th, 3-6-0. Lehigh Valley, 3-4-0. We got ourselves a new game as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Al DiCarlo, Jim Wills. Take a look at what happened in the 3rd inning for the Hellertown Royals as they came up with some timely hitting, and Coach Zierfuss says you got to get the hits, and that's exactly what they did. to get themselves started and see where they were going. Jeremy Haas had the base hit. Logan Marshall had the hit. The James Conrad, also would get a hit, drive in a run. Things continued to go up. There you see Conrad with the single that scores the first run of the game. And that was Jeremy Haas crossing the plate. They would add to that total from there as they continue to get something going. That one went through. We gave a single and 2 RBIs on that play to Mark Nicholas. They took a 3-0 lead, but since then, the ground ball to Joey Will is tied up at 3-3. So the 1-3 put out. Now all of a sudden, if you're Joey Will, you have new life, and you're down 3-0, and now all of a sudden it's 3-3.
You gotta like it if you're Joe Will. You got fell behind. You only really had 1 inning where you got in trouble. You know what I liked on that package there? We missed it on the play. Joe DeBoer at second base. What a diving attempt on that hit that got through. Almost made that play. So that second look, sometime when you see a game, you just see that defensive play that could have happened. But Will's on that mound now. It's a new ball game, 3-3, and that one comes back to the screen right in front of us.
It's Nicholas and Stazenko here in the 5th after Krinovisky grounds out.
So a nice job.
Al DiCarlo and Jim Krupka. I call you Wills. I don't know.
That's all right. We let that one go. I let it pass.
All right. I'm surprised I said that, but
next time I'm with you, I'm just going to be Jim Wills Jr. and you and Mike Krause will be set.
There you go.
And in 2008, Jim Wills is going to be Jim Krupka, so we're going to work on that. I have to see Jimmy next time we work together.
Nicholas with Stazenko at the plate in the 5th pitch. That one outside.
We saw Bob Surface there at third base. Another look at the coach. Was kind of cruising. Now he's got to get back and hang in there and manage the game a little bit more. And that up high almost went after that. Great job to hold off on that pitch by Nicholas. Initially tempted to go after that high stuff.
Just a little dribbler towards first. The unassisted put out. And Nicholas is retired. 2 away will bring up Stazenko.
The Clippers, Al, we talked about it. They need these games. So playing with a little bit more, what do you want to say? The game is so important to them. Whereas the Hellertown, they're just trying to maintain it. And certainly they want to win. I don't want to sit here and say they don't want to win. Absolutely. But it's a more important game for the Clippers, who'd love to crawl into those playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, again, we mentioned in the beginning, Jim and I did, that everything, this is like a bullet towards left center field, way back, and making the catch in the outfield is Mark Bernhardt to retire the side. So 3 up and 3 down as Stazenko sends that one deep.
And Bernhardt with a couple of nice catches tonight. That one going to his right, trotted back to the wall, stayed nice and calm and made the play. And the Clippers now, you've left them in the game, and that's important if you're the Hellertown Royals.
Take a look at our Starters Pub trivia question for tonight. Who holds the record for the most games won in a row during a Blue Mountain League season? And Jim Krupka had his hands raised, and I'll let the viewers think about that one for a while. We were talking about that game, and there you go. Bath AA in 1962, 19-0. And Jim, interesting, they won the first 2 playoff games. They went 21-0 at that point, eventually winning the championship. But, a great year that they had there. The reason we bring up that is because 17 straight wins after an opening day loss by Hellertown.
Right, and that, big key. They could have taken it all the way, but then they lost a second game. And it was at, who they lose that second
Cardinals.
game to? The Cardinals. Not the
Bethlehem
Cardinals. They lost that second game and ended that streak. Otherwise, they would be pushing tonight. Now, wouldn't you love to have a streak going in a game like this? Because you're going against the Clippers, fighting for that playoff spot. But you want to keep your winning streak going. So makes the game a little bit more important for the Hellertown Royals. But,
yeah, right now it's a 7-game winning streak, but not a 24-game winning streak, which it could have been. But they lost to the Cardinals instead. Part of that Bath AA team, Dick James, Spike Santo, left Horvat. But they win the championship. That was back in 1962, whereas they went to the record books to give us that trivia question when Hellertown was going after that record with 17 straight wins. We are into the bottom half of the 5th inning.
And the Lehigh Valley Clippers have done a nice job hanging tough here. We'll give their pitcher Joe Will a lot of credit. did a superb job after one little bumpy inning. Well, the same actually for Laporta, who had been doing very well and just had one inning there, I think, where the rain kind of blew in and maybe had a little bit of an effect on it, because now he's right back to making some strong, solid pitches there. Comes with a little bit more on that.
Matt Connors, Andrew Fair, and Brandon Meza as we start the bottom half of the 5th inning. This is a sharp shot towards Jake DeBoer over to first and 1 away.
So Connors is down in the 5th, moving along well. Both teams a good job. The umpire's doing a good job controlling the game, having the players go back and forth.
Jim, you look at Laporta prior to this inning, 53 strikes, 20 balls, a total of 73 pitches thrown, 4 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. I mean, the 53 strikes to the 20 balls, everything going well for him on the 73 pitches. It was those 3 walks that all came back to haunt him. You say, you know, pitcher's worst nightmare, the walks. How about 3 in a row? All 3 score, and we're tied up at 3.
Exactly. So you see Laporta on the mound there. We had that other shot. I'm not sure who we were highlighting there. We had a nice profile shot, one of the players from Hellertown. A good look at the field. Well manicured.
Andrew Fair. Here's DeBoer. We'll pick this one up. Fire to first, 2 away, and Fair is down. So Fair now 0 for 2 with a walk on the evening.
And DeBoer is doing all the work this inning for his Hellertown Royals. Nice ground ball. Moved to his right. Smooth. Picked it up and made a little bit of a distant throw there. Sometimes second baseman's playing a little bit more overload. Notice DeBoer, he's moved over into the hole. Nice big gap there on that right field side.
Maisie takes a first pitch strike, flew out in the first, walked in the second, walked in the fourth. He's 0 for 1. Came in batting .288. Tim Bremen on deck here for the Clippers, evened up at 3-3. So the Royals getting all 3 of their runs in the top half of the 3rd. Clippers getting all 3 of their runs in the bottom half of the 4th. This one gets through for a base hit, a 2-out single by Meza to keep the inning going.
So a little seeing eye base hit there by Maisie. The shortstop Gravinsky could not quite get to it. Here's a look. He's down the count, stayed with that in the box, and just gets by Gravinsky at short again. Tries to dive, make the play, and can't, so Marshall will play it back in.
So Maisie over at first with a single. Here's Bremen, struck out and walked. He's 0 for 1. This was the part of the lineup, Maisie, Bremen, and Yencho, that had the 3 walks in a row the last inning.
Right, and then Asip came up with the base hit and treated us all to that single.
And throwing the pass ball, you got yourself a 3-3 tie. Just joining us, had a momentary part of a little rain, very light rain, but enough to maybe disturb the pitching performance of Jeff Laporta, who is doing a great job. Recorded his 5th strikeout, and then all of a sudden they walked 3 batters, and they all came in to score to tie the game up.
But that rain may save my wife going out and watering the flowers tonight, so
I don't know if it was
served a good purpose.
I don't know if it was that much rain.
Well, we don't know what's happening up there in the big city.
Bremen with Yencho on deck. Maisie off first.
Flat up the middle. Oh, great play.
Krinovisky over to DeBoer to retire the side. We're through 5 innings of play. We're all even. It's 3-3. Join us on Service Electric 2 Sports. We were evened up at 3 as Joey Will back on the hill, number 19, and through 5 innings for him, 37 strikes, 24 balls, a total of 61 pitches thrown. Jim, 3 runs, 6 hits, no strikeouts, 2 hit batters, and 0 walks.
And he's done a good job, except for that 3rd inning where he, you know, a couple of base hits, a couple of hit by pitchers. Actually, both of the pitchers, Al, have done a superb job, except for some fluky, a couple of walks by Laporta, a couple of hit by pitches by Will. You know, you'd have a close game. We have a close game. I mean, 3-3.
Yep, doesn't get closer than that. Weiss, DeBoer, and Haas, 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup, and that one's a foul ball, just wide of 3rd.
I was thinking more scoreless game at this point, but they've both done a nice job.
Well, if you look at Hellertown, when I'm talking to Bob Zerfos, one thing he did mention, he lost his 3, 4, and 5 batters from a year ago. Dan Borden moved over to the Tri-County League. Jesse Borden, a home run leader with 10. He's no longer, playing on this team, and neither is Scott Engler. So, you lose 3, 4, and 5. You had 25 wins a year ago, 25 and 10. And you know what? They're really not missing a beat. Timely hitting the way he said it, and great pitching all year long, great defense, and he's excited about this year's team.
I find these managers, Al, in these leagues are very creative because, when you're on a college level, of course, when you're on a professional level, your rosters are kind of made up. You have that base that you're going to work with. You got your veterans. But I give all these managers in the Blue Mountain League a lot of credit because, you may have a totally different team this year where you've got to manufacture runs, whereas last year you mentioned, a player that hits 10 home runs. And here we go. This is going to go off the catcher. Let's check it out. Fouled back and out of play. No, off the umpire's shoulder. Takes one on the right shoulder. Does Joe LaBella. That right up the middle.
Right, just changed, tough play, and that's going to be a high throw. And no, good play there by coming down is Tim Bremen. So Bremen makes a play as Connors got caught up with the toss, but Bremen makes the play, one away here on Weiss.
And a good job, the ground out by Weiss. But as I was saying, these managers here, you may have to change your style. Here, take a good look at this. Kind of bobbled it a little bit there, and then lollipopped it a bit, comes off the bag. Great call at first base. But, you may have a whole different team than you had. You may be scrambling for a pitcher. You may be scrambling for a closer. And so I give them credit each year because, they're not whining and complaining out there. They're just working with what they have, trying to get in contention. And like you said, the Clippers tonight, they're really still focused on making that playoffs, even though a lot of things need to happen for them.
Yep. This is Jake DeBoer 0 for 2 on the night. You talk about a Clippers team that had Nick Nagito, Ryan Walters, and Steve Geisel, and lost those couple players to the ACBL. And, I think they were combined 5-0 early part of the season. So, you're losing a big part of your pitching staff. And, try to regroup from there.
And look at how they complain about that on a professional level. If you listen to sports talk radio, the next day after games, what is the focus on? Who got hurt? Who's not going to be in? A pitcher's going to miss a start. My goodness, Kurt Schilling there missed a couple starts, and it all works well. And that's an out plucked right off the ground by Will, who's done a great job fielding his position tonight. Several balls back to him. Here, let's take a look. Finishes in that good position. Stayed with it the whole time, and that one, no grass under there at all. Holds up the leather, and he's got the out.
Will has settled down since that third inning. He retired 3 of the first 4 there in the 4th. 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. And this one right down the line as give him the whammy. And around first is Jeremy Haas looking for 2, and will get in there for a 2-out double. So Haas with his second hit of the game.
But there's 2 outs, Al, and we talked about this last time with Will. He gave up the double with 2 outs. Now it's, you just have to work on the hitter here, but that's a great piece of hitting. Early on in the count, rips it down the third base side. And he got our third baseman Johnson diving, and here comes into second base just a little late on the throw and the slide over the bag for Haas. And a good thing here is you're flipping to that 9th hitter in the lineup, so even if this batter does not reach base, you still got the top of your lineup coming up in the 7th inning.
I'll bring up Logan Marshall. Marshall with a single. He's 1 for 2 and a run scored back in the 3rd inning. So runner at second is Jeremy Haas. James Conrad on deck as Hellertown tries to break this 3-3 tie.
And Marshall, I believe, made a nice catch out there in left field. Again, like a diving catch, and plucked it off the ground. So good job. I have Will down for four defensive plays off the mound.
He definitely gets that glove out. This one stroked. Could get the run in depending on the roll. They're going to try to send him. Here's the throw home. There will be a play at the plate, and it won't go through. That one rolls back, and the runner will get to second on the throw. But the RBI by Logan Marshall, who's played well. It's a Legion ball from Bath, and 0 for 6 coming in. Well, how about 2 hits on the night? And the run scored. Hellertown has regained the lead. It's 4-3.
Good piece of hitting here by Marshall. That's over the plate. Stays with it down low. Doesn't try to do a whole lot with that play. Hit Bernhard up with it as quickly as he could get it. Maybe could have charged the ball a little bit more aggressively to try and make the play at the plate, knowing that runner was going to be off at the crack of the bat with 2 outs.
So it brings up top of the order in James Conrad. That one up high. Now, if you're Hellertown, to run in, you have a 4-3 lead. Hey, you're in the same exact position. Another base hit. Try to give you the insurance run.
Last time Will gave up the double, he got a pop out to Burley, who was the batter following the double. This time gives up the single. And out comes High with a couple of pitches. Maybe got to him.
So it's Conrad and then Burley. And we are in the 6th, top of the 6th. 4-3 Hellertown on top. That one down low. Joey Will looking for his first win of the season. Jeff Laporte looking for his 7th win of the season. Right now we've had a battle between these two pitchers, despite now Will and his team being down by a run. Trying to get out of this with a runner at second base, one in. This inning, that one goes straight through on the wild pitch and will move the runner over to third base.
Good hustle right there by Dan Asip. Had to pick that up. The runner, the batter, looked like he was ready to take off. He might try and snag that extra base, get himself down there to second base on the pass ball. So we got a walk, and now runners on first and second after the single. So you don't want to give up any more runs here.
You got a ground out, a line out, and then you got the double, the single, and now a walk. Brings up Ian Burley, and another visit out to the pitcher's mound.
Claggett goes out to talk to him. He's going to probably close to 80 pitches now, maybe in the game in this inning.
Well, let's see. This is going to be a big decision here for Claggett, and he keeps him in the game, and get him this far, and try to regroup there. And you're 1 out away, really. Now we got runners at first, third, out away from just getting out of it, and you're down by a run. Or if Burley does something with this pitch, could take up this 2 runs. See what happens.
I like the decision right there, as we got a good shot of a cumulonimbus cloud. How about that?
There you go.
Cumulonimbus crowd.
Brett Stout warming up for the Lehigh Valley Clippers down the first baseline. Pitch way up high on Burley. Burley with a ground out in the first, sacrifice bunt in the third, and a pop-up in the fourth. Runners at first and third, 5 straight balls pitched here by Joey Will. Looked like he was getting out of trouble. Runners going, do they throw down? They fake the throw. And a good look there behind the plate by Dan Asip as he was trying to see if the runner was going to try to come home. So the stolen base.
There's a shot of the runners from third base side. You've got Marshall and you've got Conrad now down at second base.
So second and third. Pitch to Burley, that one up high.
And maybe laboring a little bit. You see when pitchers start to get a little bit tired, maybe not coming through and down enough with the ball as Will. But I really do like Claggett's decision to leave him out there. He's got a good feel for the game. It still only is a 4-3 game. And, I'm a pitcher. I want to be out there, win or lose this thing. But now loses another one high. I think that's going to be 8 straight balls.
Yeah, 8 straight balls now. I'm not sure if Claggett's going to keep him in or not. With those pitches, really, Jim, not even close.
No, I think he's going to get him probably now, and he's going to bring somebody in. You see walking in there to come in and relieve. So
yeah, Brett Stout looks like he'll make an appearance. So Stout will make his appearance in relief of Joey Will. And Will looked like he was going to go. Just take a look at Brett Stout as he comes in. 1-0 on the year, 4 games, 7 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 7 hits.
But you really like the job as we got Will coming off. We see Brett Stout trotting in. I don't know if we can get a shot of Will going to the dugout. Pitched hard. Had that 1 inning where he gave up the 3. Now this inning kind of lost it a little bit. He was actually cruising this inning. Got the first 2 outs. Won a line out back to himself where he plucked it off the grass. But since then we've had a double, a single, a walk, and a wild pitch, and a walk and 8 straight balls. Did bring about the 2 walks at the top of the order, and that's what Hellertown was looking to do, just flip that order, Alan, and they got much more than that so far. A run and bases are still loaded.
And it's been 2 innings. The 3rd inning, when 9 batters came to the plate, started with a base hit by Hawes, Marshall with a base hit, a single in the RBI by Conrad, a sacrifice bunt by Burley, hit by pitch by Grinovitsky, a base hit and 2 RBIs by Nicholas, fielder's choice by Stazanko, hit by pitch by Weiss, and a ground out. That gave you all 3 runs. And here in this inning, you mentioned, 2 straight batters out And then, you know, you're ready to get out of the inning. Next thing you know, a double, a single, a wild pitch, a walk, a stolen base, and a second walk to add to that total. So things have changed here for now Chris Grinozinski, excuse me.
And he had done a great job, Ali, retiring a bunch of hitters in a row. He got 2 ground outs and gave up a double and then a pop out, then retired 5 in a row before now running into a little bit of a problem. So, you know, it's tough when you're a manager of a baseball team. You can't be a mind reader. You can't be a psychic. You don't know what's going on there on the mound. And again, I'm going to take it back to I like Claggett letting him in the game because he had a feel for the game, and you wanted to let him work out of that inning, let him get to that 7th inning. And let's throw this in the mix also. We mentioned it earlier in the show. If you're just tuning in, last game against these guys, he only lasted, I think you said, 2 1/3 innings. So definitely came out with a much better performance, did Joe Wilson.
That was back on July 3rd or 5th, where he gave up just went 2 1/3 innings, 7 runs and 9 hits.
All of a sudden, I'm hungry for cheese. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Will's numbers after the 5 2/3, again, he's responsible for a couple of these runners. 47 strikes, 36 balls to 83 total. He gave up 4 runs on 8 hits, 2 hit batters, and 2 walks. Dave Kaufman with our stats tonight, doing a great job once again. And right now, Chris Grinozinski with an opportunity to break this game wide open. A 4-3 lead. Seeing if Hellertown can add to that lead. Mark Nicholas on deck. First pitch coming here by Brett Stout. In there for a strike.
So Grinozinski falls behind. A good move by Claggett right now on that first pitch. Stout on the mound. Just focused on the batter. All he needs to get is a ground ball nearest base. Don't make a throw if you don't have to. But now comes high with the next one. And we had a great shot of the campus before there as we cut into the hitters and the action here in the 6th.
This one lifted deep towards left field and has a chance and gone. That one just kept on carrying. A grand slam by Chris Grinozinski. And that will break the game wide open. So only the 2nd or 3rd pitch by the relief pitcher in Brett Stout. And Grinozinski sends it yard on the grand slam. And that extends the lead to 8-3, just like that.
And that was huge right there. They pick up now a 5 spot in this inning. And this looks like the softball game we did on Sunday afternoon over at Pates Park. It was a close one going into the 7th inning. We had a grand slam. The other team came up with 3 runs, though. Patsy's from New York hit the grand slam, and Aurelia from Ontario came back with 3 runs in the bottom of the next inning to make it close. But now the bases are cleared, and here's Nicholas.
Well, things change as Nicholas now will be up to bat, and that just really took a lot of luster out of everyone involved. That one just kept on moving, going back, and Andrew Fair just finally looked up and said, you know what, that's out of here.
It's gone, and he worked them inside with the pitch and just kind of got it where he could take it down. He turned on it, opened up to the left side, and took it out of the park.
Jim didn't look like right off the bat, you know, he just kept carrying a little bit.
I thought it was going to be a fly out too. It was up pretty high, but boy, that really got a lot of distance on it. So a little power there shown by Grinozinski. And now up high is Stout with a couple pitches. And of course, you don't want to do that when you come in now. The sign there that, you know, he's losing the ball a little bit high. Easier to take out of the park when it is lost high to the hitters.
Grinozinski with the .429 average has just pumped that up a little bit. He's got 2 hits and a hit by pitch and a ground out, but how about 4 home runs now and 20 RBIs, and now a walk. This is the 3rd walk of the inning, and the inning that started with 2 straight outs, I think on 4 pitches. Since then, has really gone downhill for the Clippers.
So Brett Stout on the mound. Now tries to get that 3rd out for Lehigh Valley. Clippers have done.
9th batter coming to the plate, John Stazenko. He is 0 for 3 on the night. Big hit, though, coming off the bat of Chris Grinozinski. And that strike zone not going towards the favor of Brett Stout.
So inning 3 and 6 not kind to the Clippers, as if we get the out here, they will have sent 9 batters to the plate in each of those innings. Inside now with that pitch, 2-0 count.
So Stazenko, the 9th batter, as mentioned. A ground out by Weiss. Jake DeBoer with a line out to first, to the pitcher's mound, excuse me. Hawes with a double. Logan Marshall with a single to drive him in. Conrad with a walk, stolen base. Walk by Burley, a grand slam by Grinovisky, a walk by Nicholas, and here's Stazenko with 2 away. That one down low. Right now, all over the plate is Stout.
Count goes to 3-0, and maybe that granny rattled him a little bit there, as it would any reliever coming in. But that's you got to grow into that thing. A lot of these guys, high school players, Legion players, college players, and it's just another experience that you've got to put aside and go about your business on the mound.
4th walk this inning.
And Al, you had talked about it before. I think here's where those pitchers leaving is really showing for Lehigh Valley Clippers. As Coach Claggett comes to the mound again.
So they'll bat around, and it all started with Brad Weiss, the catcher, with a ground out. He is now the 10th batter of the inning, and that will do it for Brett Stout, as he doesn't last much in this game. And we'll get another pitcher in here and then continue to change their pitching.
That's going to be John Pallone. You see there, he's 1-0. He's pitched in 3 games, 4 innings, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 7 hits. So John Pallone comes in.
Yeah, interesting with Pallone, he's also the assistant coach. He was actually visiting the mound earlier in the game when Joey Will was in it. Now Pallone, who's a DeSales University grad here in 06, will go to the mound. Try to stop the bleeding here for the Clippers.
And we'll look at a couple of the Clippers players talking. It's a shame, an inning ago, so hopeful, and now things kind of just coming apart for the Clippers, and made that nice comeback to tie it at 3, and now to give up 5 in this inning hurts.
Well, we mentioned Hellertown, one of the cream of the crop. The last couple of years, 78-15, 29-3 in 05. They won the championship, 25-10 in 06. However, losing the starters in the first round. Starters eventually losing to Martins Creek, who won the championship. And this year, 24-2. They are looking for win number 25 on the year. But, standing-wise, at 24-2, Starters at 19-8. Martin Creek at 18-9. Bethlehem at 15-10. Bethlehem at 12-14. Northampton at 11-16. The Clippers came in at 11-15. Lineport at 7-20. And Lafayette at 2-22. Stout pitched to 3 batters, 2 walks, 2 strikes, 9 balls for a total of 11, plus that home run, of course, the grand slam given up.
I think he's responsible, though, for only 1 runner on that. They ended that. Now, the interesting thing here, Al, this has been quite a long inning for Hellertown, and over on that bench is Laporta. So he's been sitting for a little bit, and that's may affect him. We'll see what happens when he comes out, if in fact he does, but I don't see any bullpen action, so they don't have anybody going. And we're going to get the guy that started this all off is Brad Weiss, who grounded out earlier in the inning. So they're going to bat around. Here are the Hellertown Royals, something familiar to their lineup.
So Pallone in, the 3rd pitcher here in this inning, try to get out of a jam, and this one like a rocket towards right center field. That one will drop in and get another run in. Will they send the 2nd one? There is a double and 2 more RBI. That one coming off the bat of Brad Weiss. And remember a long time ago we said that Bob Zierfeld said his team didn't score 10 runs or double figures. Well, they are now. All of a sudden they got 10 and a 10-3 lead.
And they picked a lot of them up here in this inning. 7 players have scored. And there's a pitch by Pallone. He thought he had the pop-up fly-out, but no, that's going to find a gap, get all the way to the blue fence. No, Bernhardt, a nice job. Cuts that off on a hop. It looked here like it got to the fence, but give your center fielder some credit there. Runs it down and gets it in as quickly as he can.
11th batter coming to the plate is Jake DeBoer. They've been stuck on 2 outs for about 20 minutes. And Pallone trying to stop it here. Pitch. And this one, again, a deep shot towards center field, but under it is Mark Bernhardt, and the inning is finally retired after sending a number of batters, 11 to the hill. and they end up scoring 7 runs in the inning. They lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th by a score of 10-3, Jim.
So a game that was tight now gets blown open here, and if you're the Lehigh Valley Clippers, you've got to kind of respond here in this inning as we see them trotting out. It's nightfall here in the Lehigh Valley, and that was a lot closer before the top of that last inning. 10 runs on 10 hits, very efficient, a nice tidy game for the Hellertown Royals. And there's Laporta out there taking his warm-up tosses, and as I mentioned, he had been sitting for about 20 minutes. And a good look at the field. Bulldogs of DeSales University. Nice little cutout in the back there, some AstroTurf featuring the home team.
Game really moving on pretty quick there. The rain came for a little bit, got Laporta in some trouble as it looks like for the most part, the 3 walks that Laporta gave up all scored, and here in the 6th inning, the 4 walks that were given up all scored as well. There was a couple of, no, those were all the walks in the game. Every batter that walked in this game, from me looking at it, has scored for either team.
I agree. I think they have. I know the Clippers all the walks. So it just goes to prove that old theory. You don't want to put guys on base with the freebie. Now, Hellertown, of course, earned a lot of that with some nasty hits, but kept the inning alive, and I agree with you. Especially when you get 2 down. You can't let your guard down. You want to get that 3rd out. You know, just so you stop an inning like that from happening, because once it gets rolling, you know, you make a change with the pitcher and things just happen. So now we'll see how Hellertown responds with the Clippers batting, and this was a part of the lineup that did damage for the Clippers.
Bottom of the 6th inning, it'll be Yencho, Asip, and Terry T.J. Johnson against Jeff Laporta. 10-3 your score. They spin towards first. We get a flip over to Laporta by Nicholas, 1 away.
And if we had any questions about Laporta, they were just answered right there. Off the mound, over to first base, covers, makes the play, and that, you know, is practiced over and over and over by those pitchers again before the season gets underway. Here's a look at it. Laporta right away takes off, knew where it was. Great play by the first baseman. I think that's Nicholas down there, and makes the flip to Laporta.
Here's Asip. He's 1 for 2 with a single and an RBI.
Got him to chase after some high stuff right there. Asip liked it. Eye high, went after it. Couldn't catch up with it, though.
For a change of pace there. Greg Treat on deck.
Strikeout, single, RBI, and a run for Dan Asip. A nice busy game, not to mention handling about 80 or 90 pitches. And there's another ground ball to second baseman, getting a lot of work.
Yeah, DeBoer, the Penn Argel product, with the put out. And 2 up and 2 down here for Laporta. I mentioned Laporta. In the last game against this team, Laporta went 4 innings, giving up a hit, a walk, and 7 Ks. Here on this night has 5 Ks. He's given up a couple hits.
Here's T.J. Johnson. Let's see him get a hit here and flip that lineup around for the Lehigh Valley Clippers. They get the front end of that lineup going in the 7th inning. Unless they extend it here and stretch with a couple more hits. Oh, and he gets hit.
You said a couple more hits. I don't think you meant a couple more hit by pitch.
I didn't. But I'm glad it's not me.
You and me both. So
I always remember Ron Hunt. Every time I see somebody get hit with a pitch, I think about Ron Hunt. He got plunked a few times in his career.
T.J. Johnson, after the strikeout and the groundout, gets on base, and they'll bring up Treat indeed.
I think, who's the new major league hit? Is that Craig Biggio? Is he on the hit by pitch?
I don't know. I know
it's Craig Biggio.
Yeah, Biggio has his share, but I know back in the 80s, even Don Baylor used to love getting hit by a pitch. He used to lean into it and say, "Here you go, thank you. Give me first."
Taking one for the team, they used to call that.
Clippers will get a pinch runner. Mike Pekarsky, Sales University, will pinch run.
A lot of DeSales products in these leagues. They've had a great program down here for years.
Tim Nyman, who usually does the broadcast, not around tonight. Jim Krupka doing a fine job, and he would like to see, you know, he always likes to see some of his players as well. You know, he gets his share of watching his games to see his players and how they're doing, talk to them, and, you know, and likes to see all of them, you know, taking part.
Must be very proud to have this many talented youngsters playing. And in these leagues and extending their careers a little bit before they move on to other things.
So runner at first, and Treat, who struck out in the third, and an infield single and an RBI in the fourth. That chopper foul wide of third. Glad you could join us on Service Electric 2 Sports on this Tuesday evening. Al DeCarlo, Jim Kripke from DeSales University. Blue Mountain League Baseball on a Tuesday night. As the season winding down, both these two teams, about 5-6 games remaining before they get towards the playoffs, or at least for Hellertown right now, looking towards the playoffs. And the Clippers, unless something dramatic happens here and dramatic happens the rest of the season, it was, you know, for Rick Claggett and his first season, happy with the way this team has performed. This one slapped towards DeBoer. DeBoer has been a busy guy all night, so after hit by pitch, we go to the top of the seventh. It remains Hellertown 10, Clippers 3.
Mike, you're not at the golf course. It's just high def.
The Golf Channel and Versus HD are now available on Service Electric High Def. Call now for up to 25 high def channels exclusively on Service Electric Cable TV and Communications.
Top of the seventh we go. 10-10-0, 3-5-0 for the Lehigh Valley Clippers. Al DeCarlo, Jim Kripke, glad you joined us on this evening. As we get to the seventh inning, it will be 8-9-1 for the Hellertown Royals. As you take a look here at DeSales University, and the third pitcher in is John Pallone. Lehigh Valley Sports Team reminder, weeknights at 6 and 9:30. All you need to know in the world of sports here in the Lehigh Valley and beyond. Cummins, Georgia will be actually at Reading for the show live on Thursday night. Eagles training camp right around the corner. Lots of things right around the corner as well. And we'll have highlights. I know World Be Free was in town with the Philadelphia 76ers, and down there at Cedar Beach had a chance to, I don't know, it looked like maybe 200 kids there at least taking it in. And I'll tell you what, they really had those kids rocking and enjoying the show, and slam dunks and everything in between. You know, those mascots, they know what they're doing. They pop off that trampoline. Well, they start doing their thing.
And he does a great job, World Be Free, when he comes around promoting basketball, promoting the Sixers in the area. The kids really take to him. You can tell he enjoyed his game. And as we cut in there, too, we had a shot of Ryan Gemmel up there and that big crane behind home plate, giving you those shots.
Pallone delivers first pitch strike. Jeremy Haas, 2 for 3, a single and a run scored, and a double and a run scored. Coming in the last inning, that sent 11 batters to the plate and broke this game wide open. It was 3-0 Hellertown early. Then the Clippers scored 3. So the tie scored 3-3. Then a couple runs here and there. Next thing you know, you get a grand slam by Grinovinsky, and you got yourself a 7-run lead.
And that brings Haas to the plate again. He had a double his last time up, so he got into the festivities. He scored 2 runs tonight.
That one straight up. Does it stay in play?
First base side.
Yeah, Bremen makes the play. 1 out here in the top of the 7th.
And Pallone is now in there on the mound. Followed Stout. Stout followed Will, who also, Al, a nice job, really. 2 innings kind of cost him. Here is the look at that pop-up. Calls it all the way. You youngsters out there watching this game, you'll notice no one-handed stab there for our first baseman. That was a great shot. 2 hands, covers that ball, does Bremen. So fundamentally sound by our first baseman. Marshall's had a nice game. He's got a single and a double, and squeezed the ground out back to the pitcher on that one. And Pallone delivers. There you see the graphics. It's Hellertown 10. It's the Lehigh Valley 3, and it's the top of the 7th inning. We got 1 out here for Hellertown. Another one reaches out.
This one towards left field, and that's a fair ball. And a single. Was that lightning that I saw, or
I think it's a camera.
Flash? Oh, it was a camera. Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm thinking the rain's gone, but I saw a big flash right when that ball was hit. All right, so the single by Logan Marshall. He's having a productive night now, 3 hits. So how about 0 for 6 coming in? The Legion guy from Bath going to Lehigh and smacks 3 singles. That one drops in.
3 for 4 for Logan Marshall. Did a nice job.
Brings up James Conrad. Conrad 2 for 3 on the night. Single and a run scored, an RBI in the 3rd, and a double in the 4th. Also walked, stole a base, and scored in the 6th.
He's had himself a busy day offensively. Really got involved here for the Royals. No surprise, though, as we talked about him a couple times, and when he first came up, a 400 average. That is certainly very healthy.
This one nice diving stab by Treat for 1. Good play there by the shortstop from DeSales, making the play, and tires Logan Marshall over at second. 2 away here in the 7th.
So a fielder's choice there. That's a nice diving stop by Greg Treat. Treat's been involved. He's got a single. Also offensively, and here's Burley, and the graphics there pretty full for these Hellertown Royals, Al. Everybody's got a little bit you got to read. Not quite as long as the Harry Potter book, but still a lot out there for our viewers to take a peek at.
So Burley with a walk and a run scored in the 6th, along with that sacrifice bunt. 2 away, top of the 7th. Hellertown holding on to, or extending their lead now, holding on to a 10-3 cushion. Burley and then Grinovinsky, who had the grand slam in the last inning.
And Pallone on the mound. He's got 2 down. Little single squeezed in between by Logan Marshall, who's had himself a nice game.
That one misses.
Count goes to 2-1, and there, a shot of the sunset here in the Lehigh Valley. Freeze that one and keep it.
Pallone looking for the 3rd out here in the 7th. And this one towards right field should be enough. Brandon Meza under it and makes the catch to retire the side.
What's that saying? Red sky at night, baseball players delight, or something like that?
Well, we'll see if it's a delight here for the Clippers when they come up to the bat and see if they can score 7 runs.
They need 7. Come on, 7. And we got ourselves a tie. Go a couple extra innings. But another good shot there. Well, these are, I think we need to make these into sports scene postcards. Let's get into a new business.
10-11-0 for Hellertown. 3-5-0.
Shots from around the valley, courtesy of 2 Sports camera crew. I think Jim Wills had all those arranged for us tonight. As the Royals come out for the bottom of the 7th inning, but it'll be the good news for Clippers. Hey, it's the top of the order. You can't ask for any better than that.
Yep. It'll be Bernhardt, Connors, and Fair to go against Jeff Laporta. Laporta is looking for that complete game.
Trying to keep his season perfect is Laporta, so he'll pick up, I believe it's win number 7. A lot of 7s out there, folks. They need 7 runs. Laporta going for his 7th victory. But I think if Will takes the loss, I think that's his 8th loss, so he kind of didn't fit the scenario tonight a little bit.
So Bernhardt at 264 coming in. Connors and Fair 1, 2, 3 in the order here in the 7th. Hellertown looking for that 4-game sweep throughout the year. And that's what they've been doing to most every team. The only 2 teams to beat them. How about Northampton to start the year? First game of the season. Hellertown, who had 25 wins, 25 wins, and next thing you know, you're out of the playoffs. They come back to like, let's get rejuvenated and win this thing. And next first game, you go and you lose. Then you win 17 straight.
There you go. That's the way to take care. And you're not, you're playing around the whole league. not just one or two teams. You know, you're not beating up teams in your division like some other professional team I know that just keeps playing the bottom third of their division all season. As Laporta sets again. Ooh, a little fisty.
And over to second, DeBoer, who's had, I'm going to count those putouts because he's had a bunch tonight. One away. Bring up Matt Connors, Jim.
He should have got paid by the outs tonight. I think he did a great job. But Laporta, a good job of pitching here again. Kind of goes inside. He's done that when he's had to tonight. You like his location and jam some players inside. And it looks like we've got our count for DeBoer at 5.
Yeah, 5 putouts. I thought it was more than that.
So he's done for the night now. He has got to go take a seat on the bench.
So here's Connors with one away. First pitch strike.
We haven't had a strikeout from Laporta in a while.
No, last strikeout for Laporta came back in the 4th inning to Andrew Fair, who's on deck. Hellertown looking for win number 25 on the season. They're 2 outs away. You know, and Jim, interesting, you know, you open up the paper tomorrow, you see the score, you're like, oh, 10-3, another victory by Hellertown, but it wasn't easy tonight. You know, it was not easy. You know, if you're not at the game, you don't see it, you know, it's a little different.
You know, and you're going to look and you're going to see that 7-2. But, you know, Joe Will got out of some nice jams. They brought Stout in a difficult situation, bases loaded, and you know, did the best job that he could do. You got to, you know, people forget that hitter's up there trying to do his job too. The pitcher's out there on the mound, and you know, this time it just worked out in favor of Hellertown on the grand slam. And how many times do you see a grand slam out? Like, rarely do you see a grand slam. That Brzezinski hit.
Man, Grinovinsky with a throw. How about that? You mentioned his name. You've been pretty good with that. You know, I noticed that, you know, the game on Sunday, you're calling, you know, fly ball, and next thing is a grand slam. Here, you're talking about Grinovinsky, and maybe have a future in that, you know, look into the future.
Yep, I'll have to do that. I'll open it. Sports scene predictions.
Jim Krupka.
I'll even tell you what, or Jim Wills, whichever one.
Yeah, right. Doesn't matter.
And I'll even predict what time it's going to be on. You know, it's Wednesday, 5 o'clock. You know, there you go.
Here's Andrew Fair as Laporta looking for that complete game, 1 out away from the victory.
I think Laporta gets the last out. How about that for a prediction tonight?
All right. You know, I was trying to keep your confidence level up, and let's see what happens to it. Laporta has pitched a well game. Decided that 4th inning where after, and again, it came right when the rain came. He retired the first batter. It was Fair, who he's facing now. And then the rain came, and he walked 3 straight batters. All 3 of those batters came in and scored. And the rain left, and he's been back to the mound. This should do it. Ground ball towards first. Stepping on the bag is Mark Nicholas, and that will do it. Final score in this one, 10-3. Jim, your final thoughts on this one?
Again, I think we touched on it pretty much during the game. You know, the Royals want to go into the playoffs strong. A much needed game for the Lehigh Valley team. They rallied back. I think I'd like to focus on them. You know, they were down 3. They came back. They battled hard to tie it at 3. And then the Royals just came up with some timely hitting, as you talked about, Coach Zerfas. That was big for him. And, of course, the grand slam. And anytime, you know, you get a player out there just trying to make contact, keep it in play, get something going, you know, it ends up a grand slam, and next thing you know, game over.
Take a look at the Stars Red Report player of the game. And is Jeff Laporta. Laporta goes 7 innings strong, 76 strikes, 32 balls, pitched 108 total. You look at the strikeouts as he goes through with them: 3 runs, 5 hits, and the 5 Ks. Jeff Laporta, our Starters Report player of the game. Final score once again is 10-3. Hellertown now 25-2 on the year. Lehigh Valley Clippers 11-16. That'll do it tonight from DeSales University. For Jim Krupka, Dave Kaufman, who did a great job doing our stats tonight, Dave Donnie, our director. I'm Al DiCarlo. Hope you enjoyed it. Final score: Hellertown 10, Lehigh Valley Clippers 3. Good night, everyone.